where are each of y'all coming from? I know we're all on the screen together, but we're all in totally different places. I'm in North Carolina, so about an hour north of Charlotte, little town called Cleveland, North Carolina, kind of middle of nowhere. But I'm close to all the race shops, so I drive for several different teams. But we're here today because of our colleague racing partnership with Nutrient Ag Solutions, and that's up in Welcome. So I'm about 40 minutes from there. So it's kind of the same. Kyler, where are you coming from? You're top left on my screen. Where are you coming from?
I'm also from North Carolina. I live closer on the Asheville side. I'm 40 minutes north of Asheville, and yeah, I love North Carolina.
Okay. What about you, Ty?
I'm from Georgia. I'm from a small county called Washington County, and it's about 2 hours from Atlanta. And no one really knows of us, but everyone gets like resources from us because like we're the heart of Kaolin, as we like to call ourselves. So like we distribute kaolin all over, but still no one knows about us. So
But Bethany, you're on the right side. You get your whole like you're half of my screen somehow. I don't know how that works, but everybody else is like small, and you've got half of it. So
I'm from Florida, Lakeland, Florida.
Garrett.
My name's Garrett Ulmer. I'm from Lodge, the small town of Lodge, South Carolina. I'm about halfway between Columbia and Charleston, and I've been in 4-H for about 15 years now. I show beef cattle and market hogs, and I'm also really involved in leadership.
Okay. You're the only cool guy that's sitting outside. We're all inside in the
Yeah,
AC.
we couldn't find any good places for lighting inside the house, so I had to come outside and sit on the porch.
I'm sure they'll scold me after this for my lighting, but I've been hot all day, so I wanted to be inside.
Yes.
All right, Emily, what about you? Where are you coming to us from?
So I'm also from North Carolina. I'm in Selma, and that's about 30 minutes outside of Raleigh.
Okay. Did a little Google search. You might have seen we raced in a NASCAR and traveling to farms all over. But um, I grew up doing the same things y'all are doing. So I'm 27. So um, I feel like I'm still 17, or maybe some people might call me 7 years old. I don't know. But yeah, we did. I did 4-H growing up. Showed beef heifers and then tried to show a steer. Didn't have as much luck there, to be honest. We didn't make weight. We kind of decided late in the game to do it, and it was just we were behind the 8 ball from the beginning. So learned our lesson there that should probably prepare a little ahead of time for something as big as that. And I had a lot of fun. Did it for several years. And
How did it become a tradition, you throwing a watermelon down at the end of a race?
Yeah. Yeah. So we grow watermelons, and my family has a long past of growing watermelons. So I wanted to just support the family in any way. So we have our family's grown, and we have a lot of family members involved in the business, and then the whole industry. I've been a part of my whole life, and they've kind of watched me grow up. They've helped me get into NASCAR with different businesses and different even just individual people have put in good words for me along the way to get into the sport. And I just wanted to thank them and promote agriculture. And I didn't really know how to. Sometimes I have my race cars sponsored, and they look like maybe a whole watermelon. Like this weekend, I'll have a truck that looks like a watermelon, and sometimes it's a business. So it's Nutrient Ag Solutions. We're marketing their brand, and but it wasn't always the case. I didn't always have all my race cars, promoting agriculture themselves. So I wanted to do it on my own, and I just figured if I held up when you win a race, all the eyes of all the cameras and all the media people and the fans are all on the winner. Like they just want to see how they react. It's live sports, right? We want to see that emotion. So I knew I would be emotional, but I wanted to have watermelons and ag right there with me. So the first time in 2018, I just held it up, and I just held it up, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So So I just sat it down, and that was that. And then one of the media members asked what I was going to do with it, and I said, I don't know. I'll probably smash it open and eat it. Like, I'm hungry, and I'd like to eat the thing. And he asked if they could video it, and I was like, oh well, if we're videoing it, we got to go out on the track and do it. So then the next time we won, we were ready. It was just a way to promote ag and promote my family's business, and I just thought if I could get three more people somewhere in this world or this country to buy a watermelon and eat it, then it was worth it. Um, and it kind of gave me my own identity. It made it where, if somebody was watching the race and at a restaurant, and it was muted across the restaurant, and they just saw a guy win, well, they probably wouldn't remember who it was. But if they saw a guy holding up a watermelon, they'd probably wonder, maybe, try to figure it out, Google it. They would at least remember it. And so I just wanted to be different and promote the family's business. I started in NASCAR in 2011 and didn't win until 2018. And that's a lot of races and watching a lot of different guys and girls win, and me not being one of them. So it took a while, but we started to chip away at it and figure it out.
So, what inspired you to become a NASCAR driver? Like, how did you go from a watermelon farmer to a NASCAR driver?
Yeah, so we still farm. Family's busy. My dad and brother and uncle have just finished up our spring Florida crop, and then the rest of the family's traveled north. Some of them are in North Florida, some of them are in South Georgia, the Cordele, Araby area, and they're really getting hot and heavy harvesting North Florida and South Georgia watermelon. So I go help when I can, but we're full bore with the racing right now. So um, my dad did some hobby racing, and then after I was born, that was before, and then a little bit after, and then he stopped, and then I was 12. He offered, well, he wanted to go watch the races at our local short track, and so we went and watched. And Mark Martin, used to drive the number 6 car. His son Matt was racing at our local track in a kid class, and we watched him, and he won. And my dad asked me what I thought. I want to be like Matt Martin. I mean, he's awesome. He's about the same age as me, and so we were in the next race. We borrowed a race truck that he used to race against from a buddy, and then we bought our own, and we really just had fun with it. So that was I guess I might have just maybe I was still maybe did one more year of 4-H when I started racing. I played soccer as well, and y'all know it's hard to juggle more than one or two things outside of just normal life and school. So 4-H took a bit of a backseat, and the racing took over as a hobby, and we just did a hobby, as far as our racing stuff, and um, until I was 18, and then we decided to take it serious. It became kind of my livelihood of trying to make it in NASCAR. Moved to North Carolina at 18 years old from the farm, and you know, I can go back to the farm. They're doing just fine without me. But like my brother, he's 21 years old, and I'm 27, and he is pretty far ahead of me in a lot of ways because he stayed at the farm, worked, and this is more of a dream here I'm doing and trying to pursue. It's definitely paying off. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But there was kind of a lull, if I'm being honest, in real world progress. So yeah, I wouldn't trade it. But yeah, so I'm still going to farm after all this is done. It's going to come one day, but the racing, you can't race when you're 60 years old, like not at this level. So you can farm, and I'm not one. I don't think that I am going to retire early. I enjoy working. I enjoy getting up and just tackling the day, and it doesn't feel like work, I guess, if I'm being honest, which is key for y'all as you find what you're going to do. Hopefully, you find something that doesn't feel like work.
So, what would you tell kids that were trying to achieve their basically dream job?
Shoot your shot. I mean, that's you have to take that chance, and I'll be honest. I've had I've taken chances, and some have paid off, and some haven't, and some have paid off with consequences, and that's okay. It's not all just shoot, chase the dream, and I mean, my stuff hasn't went ideal at all. There's been, years have gone by where I didn't feel like things went my way, but kept grinding because really I didn't see another way to do it. So I just kept grinding and kept figuring it out. And some doors open, and for y'all too, they'll open at the right time, and some doors might have to be pushed open. Like you might be told no, but you go back again, or you might be told no, so you go right to the next one. Maybe the next opportunity, just pivot and go again. It's you just can't stop. So if you're chasing a dream and you feel like it's a dream worth chasing, like just don't stop. The mental side though is as much a factor in like grinding through chasing a dream or grinding through days, weeks, months, years of a job. The mental side is super important. Like, and everybody kind of handles it different. Surrounding myself with better people has been key for me. Because there was a time where I was not a positive person. I looked at everything half empty. All my cups were half empty. None of them were half full. I've worked to where I can just genuinely look at stuff and see the positives in it. And I think that's key.
So you said you show cows, so I'm sure you know the nervousness that just comes upon you right before you walk in the ring. How do you deal with being nervous before you go to a race or before you start a race?
Yeah, I have I guess a couple of habits and a little bit of a process I go through on race day. Um, so, starting off as simple as eating breakfast. Our races are usually not before noon, and some of them are late at night. And so I do some intermittent fasting for my training because I look forward to that, and it makes me start that day so much better because eating breakfast feels good. And so from there, fast forward all the way to right before the race. Uh, Sorry to say it, but I have to go pee right before every race. Like the last thing I want to do right before I get in the car, I want to pee, and then I want to go through the prayer and national anthem and stand there and go through that, and then get right in the race car and fire it up and go race. And that's kind of the very last couple of things that I do. If I don't, the nerves are even worse. I mean, I'm nervous before every race, but as soon as it's a combination of getting the helmet on and cranking up the race car and rolling. And as soon as I start rolling, even if we're under pace laps and we're doing 30 miles an hour, that's key. Then I don't think about nothing else. I could have anything else in life going on, good, bad, or indifferent, and it's only about that race car, and my team, because I only have then two guys talking to me. I have my crew chief and I have my spotter up on top of the grandstands, and nobody else can talk to me, and I can't talk to anybody else. So it's it's kind of our own little bubble then.
So, what were your 4-H experiences like?
I made the mistake 2 years in a row of right. You want to look good when you go into show and buying brand new boots. Saved them for show night. Silliest thing I've done. They're so slick. I mean, you're already walking around a dirt rink, and my cows were quite a bit bigger than me. Obviously, they're stronger, but they were even just taller. I didn't hit a growth spurt till later in my childhood, and man, I got drug around. We didn't do a good enough job of working with our cows, and my main cow, it was a red limousine, was what she was, and I named her Red. I got to pick her name, so it was nice and simple. But we didn't do a good enough job. I never felt like of training her in that environment. She would do great out by herself in a pasture, walking around. She'd do anything I wanted, and I didn't even have to really tell her how to walk and how we were going to do it. She knew, but man, you get her in that surrounded by people and whew, other cows, it was not always the funnest thing. So, but man, I had a lot of confidence in her, and have those memories, of that. So there was a guy, Mr. Mann, his last name was Mann, and his son Colby showed in my class for several years, and so uh, Colby's dad was a big fella, and he was like the last thing right at the edge of the arena that we saw. He would stand at the gate and open and shut the gate to go in. And so, you're trying to get her up there right to the gate, get ready and be ready to go in. And if she didn't want to, he could walk up and they would listen to him. He was a big boy. And one night I remember I was real nervous and he just like put his hand on my shoulder and just didn't say anything. Didn't even look down at me. Just put his and I was like, all right, it'll be all right. He's here. He'll save me if I need saving. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Check us out this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We'll be in the number 10 car, hopefully getting ready to smash the watermelons.